Alrighty, this is an addendum to assignment one, which was discussed at length on the posted video that hopefully you've seen, as it describes more than just what the assignment is, which is to compile a bibliography of 10 citations that deal with either a food or a beverage that is also sold as a commodity, and where all the citations come from .edu websites and are in the PDF format. That was the assignment that I showed in the rather lengthy discussion where I used Google Advanced Search. And I also suggested in class that you might consider using AI for the assignment as well. So what I did was I did both. I did the Google Advanced Search, which surprised me how fast it was, and then I used ChatGPT. Now, what's interesting about ChatGPT is that it tells you what it's doing, whereas in Google Advanced Search, it's going on in the background and then it just spits out the results. So, in that sense, it's interesting because depending on your research, ChatGPT has a lot of sorting qualities, which is where the AI comes in. So, I'll share with you what I got from. We can make this bigger. Yeah. Um, oops. Come on. I see it. Find 10 citations of scholarly articles on Yerga Chefe organic coffee production and marketing that is, quote, shade grown, fair traded, and posted only in .edu sites and .pdf format, APA style. So that is our assignment. The APA style comes in when you actually list the 10 citations. And then it tells you what it did. It's thinking it did here for 2 minutes and 11 seconds. I was surprised that actually it's slower than Google Advanced Search, but there's a reason for that. And that is that it's doing more sorting. Now, I'm not sure I like all the sorting that it did, but let's see what the thinking is. So there's the site and the file type, Yerga Coffee Shade Grown Fair Trade. There's also something here I don't know if I mentioned in the longer discussion of the assignment. But that is here it also says Yirga, and then there's an asterisk with Chefe. That's used a lot in library and all kinds of searches where you want a word to that has more than one way of, well, for example, the word production. So if you knock off the ION at the end of production, or producing or ing, you can truncate it. So the asterisk is a form of truncating that allows the search engine to find the many ways of writing the same word. So I've seen that a lot in library searches. And then it tells you where it's searched. Okay, Google Advanced Search does not tell you that. So, but I'm not sure I'm crazy about what it did. It did visit our good old sitters. This is the one where I found the Kodama article that was 100%. I forgot to ask that it should also be cooperatives. And then so here's New Hampshire and Brown University and Harvard and Ohio, and it says 17 more. Um, but then it explains, and this I think is really interesting. It's very illustrative of how it works. And it's either something that you think, oh, this is good to know, or you think, oh dear, it went down the wrong rabbit hole. So but it does. For example, it tells you it finds the IP branding on Yergachefe, but not to focus on shade-grown coffee. It might still be useful from a marketing perspective. So you can see how it does a sorting. It's actually looking at the content of the articles, which Google Advanced Search only does in a cursory way. Google Advanced Search is going to look for the keywords that might be in the title or the abstract, but not dive into the articles. So here, actually, ChatGPT did get deeper into the articles. There is the one that I found my Kodama piece on, but I was a little bit disappointed in the difference between what I got from Google Advanced Search and what ChatGPT came up with. Now, there might be a reason for that, and it might be that I wasn't detailed enough with ChatGPT. So it cast a wider net, as it were. Here's all the universities that it searched because I said I wanted scholarly articles. And because I said end in dot .edu, then it went immediately to university databases, university publications. Um, and so you can see it repeats the little, it's so cute that it put the little logos. But then it does explain what it did. The user's request was clear. Find scholarly articles directly related. You got your and shade going, yada, yada, yada. I could potentially include broader papers on Ethiopian fair trade if they mentioned Yirgacheffe. So you can see how it's doing sorting. And I think it's valuable for it to describe what it's doing and why it took two and a half minutes to do it. Because it's actually looking at content and then it's evaluating content based on the searcher's criteria. So I'm both quite impressed by what it came up with because it even gives examples. Here is that mention Yirgacheffe, but not necessarily with my other criteria. And here's the one of Starbucks versus the Ethiopia case, which is what triggered my interest in this whole issue in the first place. Cornell, which is a very important, Cornell's a very important university because it's also a land grant college. It has a huge agriculture and economic development school. It's a bit like UC Berkeley. They're sort of sister institutions, Cornell and Berkeley. Then it went into Ag Econ Search. I'm glad it did that. And it looked at value chain voluntary standard. So what I liked about ChatGPT is it was also an education for me on where these repositories are, who hosts them, where my criteria applied. So it's so much more detailed than what you would get just from Google searching. But I was when we finally got through all the sorting, and there's quite a bit here. It lists, for example, six so far. So it's progressing. It's reporting this as it goes along. You're watching the screen tell you, there's 10. Um, and then what was interesting was there was no Kodama. And that's funny. When I used Google Advanced Search, Kodama was number one. It satisfied all the criteria. And now it has them in when asked for APA style. It's interesting that it did APA style, but it numbered the bibliography. And we don't, in an APA style, we don't number them. We alphabetize them. It's true I asked for 10 citations, but that shouldn't be a reason for putting little numbers next to them. You rarely see this in a bibliography or works cited. It's unusual for them to be numbered, and I please don't. Either in your essay at the end of the semester or in this assignment, don't number them. Just alphabetize them. Now, what is nice here, let me see if I have all. Yeah, is that these all have returns after the complete citation. So they are very easily alphabetized. In fact, I could try that right now because there's no paragraph returns inside so let's do this and then I'll go to tools table tools word count, come on. Why do I always lose where it goes? Sort, come on. I always confuse Excel and Word. So maybe it's in here, it's sort. And then it'll say sort by what paragraphs, text, ascending. Okay, let's do that. And now it's in alphabetical order. B, D, G, and that was easy peasy to do. And then I could remove the numbers really easily. By the way, a little trick in Microsoft Word that I learned years ago. If you put the cursor next to something you want to remove, like over here, I wonder if it would work. Oh, it did. Oh, no, it didn't. Wait a minute. And then you hold the Option key and select them like this. People don't know this trick, but it's such a good trick. You get to here, you can remove them. Oh, why didn't it? Eh. Option, it lets you select, for example, normally when you select, it's left to right or right to left. It's horizontal. When you hold the Option key, it's vertical. And let me see if I can get, no, it's not going to delete them. That's funny. It's supposed to. So there they are, 10 of them. It tells you to fit your criteria. It asks you if you're happy with it. And it also learns. So I had to do it twice. The first time I didn't specify APA style, and then I did now. And I also didn't mention cooperatives, and that was my mistake. I'm very interested in cooperative agriculture. But I think it did a decent job. I think that it was slower than Google Advanced Search, but I didn't have to sift through, since I only asked for 10, I didn't have to sift through, say, 34 that Google Advanced Search would have come with and said, yes, this one, not that one. When I first did this search and I said only coffee, it came up with everything about the health benefits of coffee, the risks of coffee, caffeine use. I thought, oh no, that's why you have to be careful that you're specifying an agricultural commodity, either a food or a beverage. So that's all I wanted to do here was to update the because I'm encouraging students to experiment with AI. Now, I haven't used Google Notebook yet, and that might be better for other tasks. But since ChatGPT is now in, I think, fourth iteration or something, I'm happy that it reported its method and that it reported what it found and why it found it and where it found it, what was in it, what was not in it. That was very educational from the point of view of my needs. I thought, okay, I'm glad I know. I advise you to try both. They don't. This is not a time consuming. I would say it's tedious. It's not really tedious, but be very picky if you're using AI. The pickier you are, the better the results. The broader you are, the more unhappy you'll be with the results if you're doing, in this case, a bibliographic search. But the lesson learned for me was always be very exact and detailed in what you're asking AI to do. And in fact, ChatGPT said the user was very detailed in the desired the whatever the search. So it helps AI do a better job if you're very picky and detailed and you don't have to write it all in one sentence. You can your request can be put in two or three sentences. So that is my addendum. As soon as I have this thing back from Zoom, I'll attach it to the assignment and I'll put it in the module. But try ChatGPT, and then I'll see if by tomorrow I can try Google Notebook actually writes the way that ChatGPT writes. It is interesting how much ChatGPT does. It's not just bibliographic searching. I mean, it does images, it does a lot of stuff. So AI is here to stay. We better get good at it. And the better we are at it, I think, the more use we'll get from it. If we're bad at it, meaning if we're clumsy and general and vague, then it's going to stand out. It'll be like, oh, this was AI. And I think people make that mistake in writing, and and I liked the fact that it reported stage by stage, which is why it took, almost, well, it took actually 5 minutes because I tried doing it more than once. Okay, with that, I'm going to stop the recording and attach this to the assignment so that you could be really busy learning about AI in our class or IT. Stop the recording.